Hey, what is up, guys? Hey, it's Kevin here, and today I want to go ahead and do more of an educational video, more so than what I've been doing in the past. From my last video, the volume montage, I actually got a lot of good critique and good feedback from that video. It was just amazing to have, that much viewership on it, and very much, very appreciative about all the support I'm getting. And I actually just got sponsored or partnered with TGN, so there's that going for me, as you guys would have noticed in the beginning. But let's go ahead and look at the team cons that we have over here. It's going to be just a normal quick match with our team with two specialists and also a tank. It's going to be Vala, Lieutenant Morales, Zul, Bjork, and also Zagara with Vala on the other team, Lieutenant Morales, Karazim, Illidan, and also Tyrael. And it looks like my Skype is kind of blowing up. I'll go ahead and check that up later. And for the laning phase and whatnot, I just want to go ahead and just fast forward this part. There's a couple of periods where I do think that it's not necessarily a guide to kiting, but it's why you should always be kiting. That's kind of what I want to go with this video. And basically things that happen when you don't kite and some effective methods on how you can kite as well. It's mainly a game of what I like to think, because there's different styles in how you can approach being a sustained DPS, a range sustained DPS, and some people like going really aggressive, making those really aggressive plays, and kind of just going balls to the walls and trying to get as many kills and as much hero damage as possible. I don't really like that type of style. I'm more of a passive, safe type of. I just want to go ahead and just give a damage over time around my teammates. So let's go ahead and I'll just go ahead and slow it down whenever we have like certain team fights. Over there, I saw that he was a bit overextended. Just got a couple of autos off, nothing too crazy. But yeah, it's just oh wait, actually no, that wasn't even a good interpretation of kiting. I think. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and just keep on fast forwarding from here. End up getting the altar, and then actually this is gonna be, I think over here there's gonna be a good period, and it's more about trading than kiting. But if I think it's gonna be in like with the Karazim. Okay, so at this point, as you guys can go ahead and see here, what I effectively try to do is that I'm going to go in for the auto, and then I'm just going to kind of just back up from there. And this is like a practice that you guys want to kind of have as a ranged assassin, sustained assassin, because what you're effectively doing is, since he's melee, you have to disregard the fact that he's melee, but you also take into the fact that he has abilities that can gap close that will get him into your range. So what you want to kind of do is that you just want to throw in some autos and then just back out, throw in autos, back out, and it's kind of like this this pattern that you have going on. And then also, as you kind of get kind of play a little bit just in MOBAs in general, when they kind of use key spells, you want to be aware of the fact that most players will be very patient when they use skills, or they'll be very instant. So that's all based on who you're up against and what type of habits they have. So in this case, the Tyrael actually waits for Karazim to kind of go ahead with the follow-up, and at that point, if Karazim kind of goes in, then naturally Tyrael is going to go ahead and actually go in. So I just vaulted immediately, so I can go ahead and get this range leash onto Tyrael. So this basically, if you guys are familiar with baseball, you want to be in a situation where you're always throwing the pitch. Like, you always want to have a certain range leash onto the Tyrael in this case, because he's the one most extended out. So whether he goes that way and retreats, I can go ahead and just kite forward, and then I'll still have the same range leash and I'll still be doing damage to him. Or if he decides to go ahead and gap close, I can go ahead and just kite back that way and still again, still provide that damage for in the situation. So you want to just put yourself in a situation where you can always be doing damage, but not overextending and putting yourself out there. It comes with just playing MOBAs in general. It's not Heroes of the Storm, but that's basically my way of looking at kiting, and what I strive to kind of perfect is just safe damage. And we'll go ahead and see more examples on why this could be a pro and a con, and also why I just prefer this type of style of gameplay for myself. Now that I look at it, I could have easily finished up that kill and, you know, kind of provide that type of my team, but we're just going to go ahead and see what happens in this team fight. Okay, this is actually a very good example. Let me go ahead and just break this down bit by bit on why, because most ranged assassins, I think, in quick match, I'm not talking about Hero League, but in quick match would have died in this situation. And let me go ahead and explain why. So you have two people over here, two people over here. So effectively, Illidan is in a very, very bad spot. But what the sustained assassin, in this case me, would kind of see is that maybe if I just stay in this location, Illidan, whether he goes this way or that way, because these people are definitely going to go ahead and chase. So then you provide this zoning for these two with you and the orc, or that way, like, you know, you're effectively blocking Illidan from any escape path if you kind of stay here. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you that that is the wrong way from my particular style, because let's say that you stay over here and then these two converge, you actually end up being the first one in terms of attack ranges in which that they're gonna go ahead and go on to, because you're a high priority target. They want to kill you first in the team fight, in every single team fight, and if it could turn into like a 1v3 very easily, or like a 3v3 very easily, with you being the main focus. So as you can see over here, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm just gonna try to just go closer to the Illidan. Go ahead and slow it down from here. And then just kind of switch places with him, and then effectively just trade where he was, and then get a more aggressive stance. So now Zul's going to be in front of me, so I have that cover. I have this this meat shield that I can kind of play off of. Lieutenant Morales is going to be in the back, so if Tiro decides to go on me, I can just make a quick swap and just single him out and properly kill him if he decides to do that. And we have a very aggressive, you know, stance for these guys, so they just have to retreat. And this effectively just gives you a very good pick off without jeopardizing any positional advantage that your team has. So, and as you can see, they're forced to go ahead, you know, just back off. They have no positional ground. And yeah, that's about it. You know, you just want to place yourself in a really good situation where you don't need to kite. Okay, let's go ahead and play this clip from that previous video. Basically, I'm just gonna go ahead and come into the fight, and as we can see, Illidan is basically caught out. You're just taking him one by one, you know, having a range gap. And as you can see, I think this would be a good example. Okay, so as we can see over here, this is a very deceiving spot to be in, because in Leoric's case, I can understand why he's doing this, because he's trying to effectively zone out and give space to our teammates over here taking the altar. But he has to understand that although it seems like a 4v4, it's and this does relate to kiting, trust me, because you want as many people in your team. It's basically, as Vala, you are just as with any sustained ranged DPS for the matter, not even just Vala. Your whole job, I believe, is to just maintain a range leash. You want to make sure that you can throw in autos at priority targets all the time, while not putting yourself at risk. For usually my rule of thumb is 3+ people. Once 3 or more people kind of enter your range leash, as I would call it, as in your auto attack range, you will you will indirectly lose DPS for every person that gets too close to your range leash. And let me explain why. Because your team relies on you to be more or less like a walking dot. Your job is to always dish out damage, whether it's going to be on a tank, priority target, really just anyone that's in your range, while you being safe. Because the moment you're out of the picture, the moment when Vala is out of the picture, this whole team fight is a completely different story. And these people will effectively just, just let's just say I'm gone. These people will effectively just take out the orc and then boom, just wipe these guys, and the Zakari can't even do anything in the process. So my whole job in this scenario is to just kite back, provide the presence, as we can see when we play the clip. She effectively, they're in a very aggressive position. They're trying to go ahead and kind of get it. But then what I effectively did is that I've repositioned myself where we can get the aggressive push, because now we have Zul in the front line. We also have Lieutenant Morales right over here and Zakara ready to back us up. So now this is going to be a totally different situation, because their enemy Vala is really out of position. You do not want to be this guy. You do not want to think that you're making a montage every single moment of every single game. Put yourself in a really just stupid situation like this. You're just way too far. And if you were like over here, you could still get the kill onto Zul, even if she was just like right over here, and she would have had the support of Morales and also all of his team. You'll go ahead and see exactly what happens. I mean, she's basically dead at this point. It's just she should have just been. If she was here, we probably would have lost the fight. And as the fight converges again, she died, and as a result, since they don't have their range sustained DPS, their melees are gonna die. It's just that's how it works. You're kind of like you're not the one that's supposed to be making the plays as a ranged sustained DPS, but you're the one that's supposed to enable the plays and provide the damage that your team needs. Now let's go ahead and look at this situation. It looks like our team's actually getting pretty low. Okay. Alright. I'm shaking my head right now. Alright, let me go ahead and tell you. This is why I'm saying you don't want to stay in one spot. This Vala right over here. Actually, let me just play the clip. Okay. Over here. This is exactly the reason why I say that you do not want to stand in one spot as a sustained ranged 80 carry, ranged assassin, whatever you want to call it. You never want to stand in one spot, because essentially you are the lifeblood of your team. You are the walking dot. You are the main damage source. Whether you go very defensive or very aggressive, in this case, he just didn't choose anything. If he went this way towards the left and let his team kind of do everything, that would have been a better trade, because in that case, all three of them could have just converged onto me. I would have had to, kind of just peel back, but I would have probably died because Morales is kind of over here. I don't think the heals would have been enough. If you decided to go towards here, towards the York, kited this way, granted, in both situations, these two still would have died. So whether you went right or left, whether you went aggressive or passive, it doesn't matter what type of playstyle you have, you just always want to be moving, You can be an aggressive Vala, you can be an aggressive Vala, go right, take out the Leoric by yourself, and, kind of zone him out of the fight, while these two kind of just go on to me. And it looks like Tyrael would also join in, so it's a 3v1, and I'd probably be pissed. I'd probably be screwed in that case. Whether he goes left, then that's a 4v1, and I'm definitely screwed. So let's go ahead and play the clip and see what happens when you decide to actually play in a safer position. Now, as you can see over here, remember how I was telling you guys you want to kind of envision it as like a game. If you guys are familiar with baseball, it's like a game of being a pitcher. you want to always be the one giving commands. There we go. You always want to be the one giving commands, and you always want to be the one kind of dictating your opponent's movements. And in this case, this isn't what's happening right now, because all of them, every single one of these people are in my attack range, so they can all attack me. And even with the stim droid, you know, I'm very, very vulnerable right now. So in this case, this is where you have to just rely on your micro and also rely on the teammates that you have. This is why I always say that you want to be with your teammates, because situations like this happen more often than not. And when it does happen, you just want to be prepared to play around your teammates and kite around them. They're basically like your safe zone buddies, and you want to make sure that you want to play around your teammates, be adaptive, and also kind of pick out. I like to pick out opponents one by one, but I like to pick out the opponents who are kind of just by themselves. In this case, it might be Illidan, it might be Tyrael, it might be Kerzium, just whoever is going to be out of position. And let's go ahead and play the clip and see what I mean. So Tyrael decides to go ahead, actually give the W to closer to Illidan and leave Kerzium by himself. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is, instead of going on to Illidan like I previously said, I'm going to go ahead and go for the swap onto Kerzium. Go ahead and effectively take him out of the fight, and in this case, as you can see, he's probably going to die anyways, but Morales is walking up, so I'm more confident in this 2v2 than most, just because Kerzium's out of the fight. Now I'm going to go ahead, you know, proceed to take out Illidan from the fight. Now it's just the 2v1, and then at this point, it's, you know, you just kind of finish him off, you know, doesn't matter what you do at this point. So that's basically it, you know. It's kiting is always about playing, adapting to your teammates' movements. That's the best way to describe it. You don't want to be the one calling the shots. You want to be the one playing around your teammates and let them call the shots so you can back them up. Alright guys, that's going to be the end of the video, and thank you guys for so much love on the montage. I'm still really grateful for it. I tried my best for the kiting video. I hope that you guys have a more clearer understanding of what it means to actually to kite in certain given situations, and basically to adapt and kind of stick to your team and the mentality of what a ranged sustained assassin is. Go ahead and just leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Give me some feedback on what I can improve for the later videos, and hope you guys have a good day. Hey, it's Kevin, signing out.